And 116 to 111. We welcome you into Playoff Central Live. Playoff basketball is just so much fun. We've got Udonis Haslem. We've got Rick Mahorn. I'm Ashley Shamedy. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on this one, but we just got to pick it up where it got really interesting down the stretch of this game. Things were close, and that's because of Kyrie Irving. He had 40 in this game, really didn't get going.
It's carried the team because you put P.J. Washington on him. Hey, he's going to be like, you put him on me? Remember?
Ooh,
I
okay.
can't live without my radio.
They did that a little too early. They had a 20-point lead in the first half, 31 at its worst in the second. No lead is obviously safe in the NBA, especially in the playoffs, you guys. So we can't talk too much trash talk too early, clearly, with these teams. But just to see them finish this game, they knew they couldn't go back to L.A. down 3-1.
I mean, I loved it. I love to see throwback James.
Yeah.
I love to see throwback James. I know he's not as explosive as he was, but his handle is still tight. He's still crafty enough to get to his spots, and he's still skilled enough to finish. And that's what he did down the stretch. I think it's a little bit simpler with Kawhi out tonight. Not a better team, but a little simpler. Here he is coming off the pick and roll, the handoff, going back the other way, shooting a pull-up. Now he's got the matchup he wants, a step back. He stepped back, I'm going to shoot a three, and I'm going to empty the clip on you. That's what he did. He just emptied the clip on him. He emptied the clip on him. So I love to see vintage James, but what I will say is, no, they're not a better team without Kawhi Leonard, but I think today it was a little bit more simple. Yeah. It was simple for James. It was simple for PG, and sometimes you understand. We don't got to worry about who's one. We don't got to worry about who's two. We don't got to worry about who's three. Just go out there and get it done.
Well, you know, also, you got to give it to Dallas to climb out of that 31-point hole in order to be there. And I always said in the NBA, 20 points, 30 points, it don't matter. It's something's going to happen. But when you look at this team as they move forward, you look at the Plumlees. You get him in the game. We always talk others, me. Yes. We look at others and say, wow, did he just do that? Wow, did he just make that pass to Plumlee, who had a 6-0 run by himself when Dallas ended up taking the lead? Then it was time for Paul George to make that three in the corner. Then you got the Beard, who does his thing. And when I love his interview, when he said, you know, you were up 31 points, he's like, we ain't panicked. We just got to play the game. Game's not over until the last tick on the clock.
Yep. For those who didn't hear it, let's go ahead and hear the James Harden interview after the big win.
Watch some film, figure out what we can get better at, see what they were doing offensively, and try to get a home win.
Get some rest.
Mike. Guys, tell me the truth. Were they really thinking nothing when that 31-point lead was dwindling down, or were there some nerves going on there?
Listen, you got to worry about the game. You got to worry about what's going on right now, but there's definitely an all-damn moment. For sure. You being up 31 points and the team at home, the crowd's getting into it, their big guns get going, Luka gets going, Kyrie gets going. Yeah, there's definitely a little all-damn moment, but you have to remain composed, good coaches, good players. No game is going to be easy. You understand that. You know they're going to fight, so they did what they were supposed to do, but they definitely had a moment. That's definitely a moment.
You know, it is a moment.
You're up 31 points.
You're up 31, but you don't look at it. You know, especially being on a road team. You're being a road team. You're like, anything can happen. You know, it's all of a sudden, you will have that damn moment, but you're not going to you're going to keep your composure. And one thing that I like about what Harden says is, what were you thinking? Nothing. You know, the thing is, finish the game because you know they're going to make a run.
Yes.
And the fact of the matter, they just made it very scary.
A hell of a run.
And in this series, it just seems like it ain't really home court advantage on either team. So it's like, okay, you got to win while you can. And this is one of those games, just win the game. I remember the great Chuck Daly always said, win the game. I don't care what, win by 1, win by 100, win the game.
A win's a win. We got to give our flowers, though, to Dallas because Kyrie Irving, 0 points in that first quarter, finished with 40. He is incredible.
All of a sudden, the players are right there in front of you. You're trying to make the lobs. You're trying to make those impossible passes. Got to be more efficient as a team. And look at this one. Oh, well, let me throw this one in the backcourt. So as they move forward, you got to not turn the ball over, especially in the playoffs. You know those are the hustle points that you need to have.
7 turnovers in the third quarter for the Clippers, so that really took a turn for them overall. They were outscored 29-16 in those 12 minutes. But for Luka, it's crazy to say Kyrie as a second option when a guy like that puts up 40 points. Luka definitely, you know, obviously has so many strengths for him. And how do you guys feel like he looked, especially in the second half when they were tightening up the defense on him, but he was letting back a little bit, and then Kyrie was the Kyrie show?
I mean, I'm fine with it. It's only one basketball on the court. You got a guy that's cooking with no grease, let him cook. You know what I mean? So I'm fine with that. It's only one basketball. 75, 80% of the time is going to be Luka. So those are the things that are wear on Luka over a 48-minute game, but I also think Luka took a step back and was able to defer to Kyrie a little bit because Kyrie had it going in the second half.
Yeah. And that's the best when you got a guy that you say, he's hot.
Yeah.
Give him the ball. Like you said, Fish Creek, here you go. Just go ahead and keep doing that. When you need me, I'm here.
Yes.
And that's the way, Luka just plays off of the ball. It's a good thing that, he has that his ego is not like, okay, give me the ball. I got to keep shooting. I got to keep shooting. Kid got the ball out of his hands sometimes. Let Kyrie go to work. And Kyrie went to work.
29 points for him, 1 of 9 from the 3, 8 of 10 from the free throw line. A couple maybe scary moments there with him and his knee. Obviously, he is exhausted. He played about 45 minutes. So did Kyrie. Do you think that his health is going to be any part of an issue for this series?
I think he'll be fine. He still got up 24 shots.
Yep.
It takes me 8 games to get up 24 shots when I played. I don't know about you. It took me 8 games to get up 24 shots when I played, so I think he's going to be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Luka at all. They'll be ready the next game, and he'll get up another 24 to 30 shots, and we'll see how it goes, but I think he's fine.
Yeah, he's going to figure it out. I'll tell you right now, he may not have had the greatest game, and this is the playoffs. You don't necessarily worry about that because you're going to play a lot of minutes. This is what you do, and you just learn to adjust, and Jason Kidd is going to find different options and different venues for him to get it. And I mean, he's one of those. He still had a triple-double.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Trust me, when you're a guy and you're on a team with a superstar and he keeps shooting, then you say, yeah, he all right. Yeah, you worried if he stops shooting. If he keeps shooting, you say he all right. He kept shooting. Obviously, Kyrie got it going, but he'll be fine.
They made him work for everything, though. To get those 24 shots up, they did not let him take a possession off. So he had 29, Kyrie had 40. And now we're going to head back to L.A. You said it, no real home court advantage in this series. So what do we expect from a Game 5 now, 2-2, series all tied up? I feel like everything's on the table when it comes to Game 5.
I think this one's going to be evenly matched. I don't think anybody's going to jump out early. I don't think anybody's going to take a 20-point advantage. I think everybody's going to be ready to go for the jump. I'm looking for this one to be somewhat of a slugfest, and then your stars got to make it happen at the end. That's what I'm looking for the next game.
I'm looking for that the same thing because, hey, this is very important for both teams. When you look at it, okay,
fouls in the third quarter, so they brought in as well and played small pressures with a big block on Joel in the final couple of minutes. But Philly missed 10 field goal attempts in the closing minutes of that game. I mean, were they just falling apart? Was it credit to the Knicks defense? How were they able to just close out it like they did?
I mean, probably credit to the Knicks defense. I will say that along the playoff series with Joel Embiid being back and missing some of the second half of the season, fatigue could have been a factor down the stretch, so that could have had something to do with it. But I'm not going to take away from the Knicks doing what they've done well. So prior to the playoff series, they had been holding Philadelphia under 100 points consecutively. So they have guarded Philadelphia well. So I'm not going to take away from that. I'm going to give credit to where credit's due. Tibbs is a physical defensive guy. Those guys came through, and they made stops down the stretch, and they got it done.
But you also said even fatigue. When it comes to fatigue, Josh Hart is one of those guys that plays 48 minutes.
Yes.
48 minutes. It's something about when you're conditioned. This is playoff basketball. You always want to be ready. You want to be the person that survives. And knowing the way the condition that you were in as a player, you want to play 55, 60 minutes because you don't want to practice. Yeah. Nobody likes practice. They all want to play. But you got to give it to the Knicks, and you got to give it to Jalen Brunson. Oh my gosh. I mean, basically the littlest guy on the court, and you go, wow, look at him, taking him to the left, to the right. Okay, now you ain't going to come out here. I'm going at you, Joel Embiid. And if you come on me, I'm going by you. I just love the way that he keeps movement on the game, but also able to make those passes and make those shots because he's starting to warm up. Remember this first game, he wasn't all that great, but this is something. When you see Jalen Brunson, 47 tonight, and it's like breaking records, but doing Jalen Brunson type basketball, just nasty, gritty, that New York grit. Ugh. It's like, but it's still hot in Philly. It's hot.
Those 47 points, a new franchise playoff record. And we talked about this before we came on, you guys. Just throwback basketball a little bit. They made 7 total threes, 7 of 27 from the three. So they were getting work done inside. How great was it to see just this style of play for this playoff game?
I mean, everybody knows that in the playoffs, the game slows down. It's not a 140, 150-point game. So you look at a 97, 92-point game where it's possession basketball. You want to get a good shot every time. You want to make them work on defense every single time. And then it comes down to the stretch, and you want your stars to be stars and finish it out for you. So I think that's what the Knicks did. They stayed in the fight. They kept punching for 48 minutes, and down the stretch, they let their star finish the game for them. Jalen Brunson was big, making plays, creating, getting the switch on Embiid. If you're not going to come out here, I'm going to pull up. If I get downhill, I'm going to create. If I spray it, you better shoot it. If I don't spray it, I'm going up, and I'm going to be efficient tonight. And he did his job.
You got to also look at second chance opportunities.
Yes.
You got to see the way Josh Hart, 6'4".
Yes.
Getting there, getting gritty with it, rebound after rebound. It was like total team rebounding, but it was Josh Hart who was just out there with the offensive second chance opportunities. Those are the things that you need to win basketball games, especially in the playoffs. And you just got to love it because they don't give up. They just stay out there and beat you and be grimy. I love it. I just love that kind of basketball.
I mean, to piggyback off that, 61 offensive rebounds in the first 4 games for the Knicks. So when you're trying to combat a guy like Joel Embiid who's going to go at your bigs and you're a big on the other side, I've been that guy. I've been the guy who's guarding the best player on the other team. I'm not going to get very shots. So the way I combat that, the greatest equalizer, get on the offensive glass, make them work. I'm going to get mine one way or another. And I think those guys did a great job, not just Josh Hart, but when Hardenstein was in the game, Precious Achiuwa, all those guys really did a good job of working the offensive glass and like getting those extra possessions. They've been doing that all 4 games.
And here's a big stat. The big stat that I look at, Joel Embiid didn't have one. He had 0 offensive rebounds. He's the biggest man on the court.
Yep.
And you understand, I mean, the injuries do keep you away from certain things, but if you can't get second chance opportunities and you 7'2", 280, it's going to be a long night. That's why they can't get to over 100.
Fatigue could definitely start to set in for Embiid right now. Like I said, missing the second half of the season, coming in, playing as many minutes as he's playing, having to carry so much of a load offensively, scoring 50 last game. Fatigue can definitely be a factor.
It was the hustle of the effort, 15 offensive rebounds. Josh Hart just 4 points, but he had 17 total rebounds, 5 of them offensive, and they were able to get it done. But a big story, obviously, Jalen Brunson with his 47 total points. Here he is right after the big win. Little things, rebounding being one of them. UD, you said a great line the other night just about rebounding and how important it is. But 18-8, the Knicks out-rebounded the Sixers in the fourth quarter. Joel Embiid had just 1 rebound in those final 12 minutes. And, I mean, can you say that's kind of what helped win the game? They had all those extra possessions, all those offensive rebounds, and they were able to get more opportunities.
Definitely. In a possession game, extra opportunities definitely helps win the game. And no rebounds, no rings. That's what it comes down to.
There you go.
Shout out Precious Achiuwa, man, who didn't get very many minutes, but I'm an X-Factor guy, and he was a huge X-Factor tonight. Didn't score points, but had 7 rebounds, and 4 of those were offensive rebounds. So Miles McBride, another X-Factor guy, 13 points. So these X-Factors stepped up tonight. Your star was a star, and I think the Knicks got the kind of game they wanted.
They got it grimy. They like to keep it grimy, and I'm just impressed with the whole aspect of the game. Even though when the Knicks were down 10 points in the first period, it was like, okay, game's not over. It's still got 36 minutes after this. But as you look at it, they scored 30 in the second, kind of brought it to a 2-point game, and the next thing you know, 30 in the third. But it's that critical fourth quarter where Jalen Brunson can just start taking over, and like you said, the others. Yes. And look, they only went 7 deep because Bogdanovich got hurt. He was just as soon as he got in the game, he got up. So when you got the grit that they have, I mean, it was just grimy. And then you got the fans. It's like, man, you're playing on that wave, and as they started to generate the momentum, it was a great game.
It was like a boxing match. It was like a boxing match when you see 2 heavyweight fighters throwing body blow after body blow after body blow. And I think ultimately New York thinks they're the tougher team. I think they can withstand and outlast those guys for 48 minutes.
It's a mental game. No Bogdanovich, no Mitchell Robinson for this game either, and they had no answer for Jalen Brunson either. Let's see if Nick Nurse has a couple answers after this one. Here he is talking to the media.
Agree. What slipped in that category tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I thought OG and Precious and those guys were really a factor. They were both, very energetic, very athletic, getting their hands on some balls. Hart, obviously got his share, but Precious came in there and got 4 and probably got his hands on 2 or 3 more. Certainly became a big factor in the fourth.
I
guess, like whether was there a moment in the second half where you were thinking about maybe getting Joel a little rest? And I mean, what kind of been playing all the second half?
Yeah, I mean, he was feeling good and wanted to go. So I think it's, these games are all must win, and we didn't have a very good stretch when he was out in the first half, so we were willing to continue on.
To that point, Nick, I think both stretches this series where you played Joel and Brunson sat. Tonight they played you guys to a standstill. I think they might actually won the minutes in game 2. I guess, why do you think you weren't able to capitalize with Brunson on the bench?
Well, we didn't shoot the ball very well tonight. And I thought once we got a 10-point lead, I think we turned it over 3 of the next 4